Welcome back. This time we're talking about Darkest Hour, directed by Joe Wright and starring Gary Oldman as Winston Churchill, who was Prime Minister of Great Britain during World War II. Joe Wright has directed some very solid films, from Hannah to Atonement and Anna Karenina, and I was really looking forward to this movie, and I honestly wasn't expecting it to come out this weekend. At my local theater, we had 7 movies opening this Christmas weekend, and I was able to see 3 of them, and we'll be seeing more after Christmas. But the first one I'm talking about is Darkest Hour. The best way I can describe it is it's the Lincoln of World War II era Great Britain. It shows the political backdealing and other situations that were happening behind the scenes of other events that we've seen played out in other films. We already got Dunkirk earlier this year, which showed the mass evacuation of British troops from the French coast when they were being pushed into the sea by the Germans, essentially England's darkest hour. We also got to see a lot of these same events from the point of view of King George VI in Tom Hooper's The King's Speech, which starred Colin Firth as King George. In this film, King George is played by Ben Mendelsohn and plays an important role in this story because Winston Churchill was not his choice for Prime Minister, although he doesn't really have a say in it because that is chosen by the House. And as I said, like Lincoln, which showed us the closed-door political dealings that led to the 13th Amendment here in the United States, this film shows us the back dealing that resulted in Winston Churchill being selected as Prime Minister and how he was almost taken right back out of office because a number of people didn't like how he was handling the war. We're also given a sort of everyman point of view through the eyes of Churchill's new secretary, Elizabeth Layton, played by Lily James. But this is, from start to finish, Gary Oldman's film. He is nigh unrecognizable behind makeup and prosthetics, I'm assuming, to give him a rounder visage, more in kind with Winston Churchill than himself. And his performance is amazing. I have always loved Gary Oldman. He's one of my favorite actors. He's given us some great characters, whether it's Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, or The Fifth Element, or The Professional. He has just delivered again and again and again. And this time, in the lead role, he is allowed to just shine. I really hope that he is recognized for his performance here, because he is an actor that has deserved awards in the past and has yet to get them. And I really hope that this is his time. Around him is a story that I found very fascinating. I have apparently been mistakenly assuming that I knew quite a bit about World War II. I knew very little about the Battle of Dunkirk until I was able to see Dunkirk earlier this year, and I really didn't know just how dire things were in England in this particular time period, because again, this is before the United States entered the war, which is, as an American, where my focus has traditionally been, 41 to 45. This is more an 1940 era, and it's just a portion of the war that I was less familiar with than I realized. And I found this film very fascinating. It is almost entirely talking. It is like Lincoln. The political dealings, the sometimes dirty politics that are a fact of life in these grander moments in history that we get to see the results of, but not necessarily how we reach those points. As a history buff, I found this film very fascinating. It is a very well-made film, extremely well acted. James is great. Obviously, Oldman is great. Mendelsohn is great. A lot of the other actors and actresses that have secondary roles. I mean, the cast from top to bottom is excellent, and definitely a film if you're interested in history. If you watched Dunkirk and wanted to know more about that period in time, definitely go see Darkest Hour. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to you. What did you think of Darkest Hour if you've already seen it? And if you haven't, what's your favorite performance by Gary Oldman to date? As always, you can subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to hit the little bell button to get notifications of new videos. You can check out some of my other reviews. And until next time, I'll see you at the movies.